Hey y'all, it's your girl Brittany. I know my backdrop looks like trash. I'm trying to figure out a way to get my little sneaky snack enclosure in here and so you can see a wall or my curtain. Also, I'm super sorry if this is really quiet. Everyone in my house is asleep because it's probably like midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning filming this. Also, this video took me forever and a half to film because I didn't know if my siblings knew that my parents' house was haunted, so I was just trying to be on the safe side. And I wanted to talk to my mom first, but I kept forgetting to. And then finally, yesterday, I was like, wait, do Lily and Quinn know about Vinny, which is his name? And she was like, oh yeah, they do. I will make some more down the line because I've had other paranormal experiences. Before we get into the video, please don't forget to comment and like. And if you like me and you like my channel, then subscribe, please. I love you. I have a little friend that joined me. Little boy. Ow! Did you guys just see him bite me? When my family and I first moved into this house, which by the way is a very old and beautiful house. I will have to look up like exactly when the house was built. We moved into this house, I want to say like 2010-ish. I think it was like the March of 2010. We were ecstatic when we found out we got the house. I always had this like suspicion that the house was haunted, just the way I felt in it, the feeling and the vibes I got from it. Also, I'm empathic, which I'm going to do a whole new video on that I'm going to put up within the next few days. I might even put it up tomorrow. My camera ran out of space. Hopefully we are good now. So basically, when somebody is empathic, they feel what others feel and they're very good at sensing vibes. When I first went into this house, I had a feeling that there was something different about it. I think it was me, my sister Gabrielle. We both went upstairs into what would be her and Lily's room, and I pulled out my phone, and at the time I just had like a regular little phone where you have to push the buttons like a million times in order to text, but it wasn't like a flip phone, if that makes any sense. So I did the audio thing on my phone, and we just started like asking questions at random, and then we'd play it back, and then we'd ask more questions, and there were a few times where we could have sworn we heard something. We couldn't quite make it out, and honestly it could have just been our young minds playing tricks on us, because I want to say I was like 14, so that would have made Gabrielle 11? I think she's 3 years younger than me. She was either 11 or 12. That's why I say, like, it was probably just our young minds playing tricks on us. Who knows? I no longer have that phone. I don't have the audio clips, so I don't know. Either way, she felt something, I felt something. We're both extremely empathic. Shortly after we moved in, so the driveway is not like a long driveway, not like in the middle of nowhere driveway, but it's just, I guess, a standard driveway. The front yard, the house, the backyard. The garage was like offset to the backyard. The driveway went from the street all the way to the garage. We're pulling in the driveway one day, and we get like all the way to the garage, and all of a sudden my mom screams. And we were all like, oh my god, what's going on? What? my mom just said, you know, like, oh, I'm in pain. We were just like, oh, okay, whatever, yada yada yada. This part that I just told you is going to have meaning behind it in a few minutes. One day I am home alone and I go to use the bathroom. Your girl is scared to go to the bathroom home alone, okay? I left the door open, the bathroom door open, and I'm like, whatever, I'm home alone, who cares? All of a sudden, I hear footsteps through the house, and I'm like, oh, somebody came home early. So I'm like, don't come near the bathroom, like I'm in the bathroom, going to the bathroom. I hear these footsteps coming closer to the bathroom, and I'm like, I said don't come in the bathroom, like I'm going to the bathroom, don't walk in on me. I go to like kind of lean up and go to like push the door closed, just like tap it closed. But as I do that, I see this tall figure walk past me and look into my brother's room. The way this area of the house was set up was my brother's room was right here, the bathroom was right next to their room, and then there was, down this hallway, there was like a cabinet closet type of thing, and then my parents' room was right here, and then the hallway kind of just like turned and went into the dining room, and the living room's over here, and the kitchen is over here. I see the tall figure, and I'm like, whoa, what the f***? Like, I just stopped dead in my tracks. Like, this thing looked like a human. Like, it had a human face. You couldn't see through it. It was like solid. It was like me. Like, I could go to him and be like this. So I start freaking out, and like I finish my business. I'm sitting there and I'm like, who the f*** are you? Get the f*** out of my house. And I'm like panicking. I'm like on the verge of having an anxiety attack, and I'm thinking somebody broke into my house. So I'm like who the f*** are you? Get the f*** out of my house. Like, I'm gonna call the f***ing cops on you. This man is paying me no attention whatsoever. He just looks in my brother's room, and then when he turns, he looks in the bathroom and he looks directly in my soul. The feeling I felt was just not sad, not depressed, not happy, but confused. I felt confused. This man stood there for like a good 10 seconds, staring into my soul. And he just, without making any different facial expressions, he turns around and he walks towards my parents' bedroom. He's like halfway in the room, halfway out, so he's like standing like right in the threshold of the door. And he just looks in there and he looks back at me. And this time when he looked at me, I felt sadness. I felt confusion. I just stood there confused, and I'm like, sir, can you please get out of my house before I call the cops? I felt like I was begging him, just get the So he was standing at my parents' door threshold for about 30 seconds or so with me just being like, yo, get the I didn't want to run past him just in case if he tried to attack me, so I kind of kept my distance. But at the same time, what was going through my head was, why am I sad? Why am I confused? He turns around, again, he looks in my soul, and the confusion and the sadness turned into more sadness and less confusion. Like, I started crying because of the sadness I felt, and I didn't understand why I was feeling this sadness. He just turns around and he goes to walk into the dining room, and as he's walking into the dining room, he vanishes into thin air. I blinked and he was gone. My mom gets home, and I wanted to tell her right away, but I really couldn't because I didn't want my siblings to know, because like I said, Gabrielle was young. Lily and Quinn and Vance were even younger. Vance doesn't even know about them yet. Later that night, the kids go to bed, and I'm sitting out in the living room with my mom and my dad watching the news, because we always watch the 10 o'clock news And I kind of just was like, hey, like, do you guys get any weird feelings? Or I asked something along those lines. I can't remember what the exact question I asked was, but I brought it up in some type of way. And my mom kind of just looked at me and she was like, why, did you see something or something like that? I explained to my parents. I thought they were going to think I was nuts, honestly, 100%. I explained to my parents what happened that afternoon, and I was like, you know, honestly, like, I thought Dad came in from work early or something. My mom was like, oh my God, what did he look like? And I explained what this man looked like. She was like, did he have like this color hair, this color pants? Was he so much, or was he like such and such height? What color was his shirt? Like, questions like that. And she was like, oh my God, Brittany. And I was like, what? Have you seen him too? Like, am I not looking that way? And she was like, do you remember shortly after we moved in when we were playing to the driveway and I screamed? I was like, yeah, you said you were in pain. She was like, I wasn't in pain. I saw him standing on our back patio. And I was like, come in? What? She's like, yeah, I saw him standing on our back patio, but when I screamed, he vanished, and he was no longer there. And I'm just like, at this point, I'm freaking out. Like, I'm like, who is this man? Leading into who this man is, which is Benny. A few days later, my mom, my dad, and I are standing out and we're talking to one of our neighbors. My mom kind of just was like, hey, please don't think we're nuts, but like, the people who lived here before us, and she explained Benny. The lady was like, oh my God, that's Benny. And we were like, who's Benny? And she's just like, that's the man that lived here before you, and he died in the room by the little shelf closet thing. That would explain the sadness I felt. This family built this house, and they also built a bakery. At one point, I think my mom and I, it was either my mom and I or Gabrielle and I, went to the bakery, which we actually went to a lot because they had these awesome pretzel bread. We were talking to, I think, the grandson of Benny, and we like explained what he looked like, and the kid was just like that's my father or grandfather, whichever. After all of this happened, my dad and I were in the basement, and the way the basement is set up is it's like you walk down the stairs, washer and dryer right here. Directly in front is like a playroom type of area, and then if you turn, there's going to be like a closet over here and then a bathroom, and then if you turn by the bathroom, there's a workbench. Well, my dad and I were, I want to say we were doing something outside, and we went into the basement to go get some tools or something. We were over by the workbench doing something. All of a sudden we started smelling cigars. My mom and dad are both smokers. My mom has stopped smoking because she had a heart attack a few years ago. So she really wanted to get her health under control, so she lost a ton of weight. I'm so proud of her for that. And she quit smoking, and I'm so proud of her for that too. And my mom was a smoker at this point in time. He's like, do you smell that too? I was like, yeah, like, is that you? Like, that doesn't smell like your cigarette smell. He's like, that's not even a cigarette smell, Brittany, that's a cigar smell. I have never been around a cigar. I mean, now I can pinpoint the difference between a cigar and a cigarette. At the time, I had no idea what a cigar smelled like. I've never smelled one. He calls my mom, and she comes into the basement, and she's like, are you smoking a cigar? My dad's like, what the f***? No, we're in the basement. I was just about to ask you if you were smoking a cigar. And she was like, no, I was just outside. I wasn't even smoking at all. My mom kind of just slightly mentions it, but she's like, I wonder if it's one of the ghosts. And we were like, it's possible. Like, ghosts emit phantom smells all the time. A few weeks later, we were talking to the neighbors on the right side of the house. They were like, oh yeah, Benny loved to smoke, like, pipes and cigars and stuff like that. And us three just looked at each other, and we were like, the smell in the basement. I will definitely have other videos or paranormal story times in the near future.